Was good cyberspace. Kaliq's back with cheat code number 20. Went on a little hiatus because I was exploring the darkness for a little bit. All right. So I'm gonna jump back into swinging things on building game avatars in the real world and staying on the concept of video games in correlation to real world, and pretty much they're kind of like the same thing to me, just coming from that perspective. But cheat code 20 is going over mental farming, and this is something that I have been thinking about or meditating on in regards to sharing the process or the blueprints of how I get into meditation. And I was thinking of like what would be a title, how can I deliver it so people understand it in this particular way, and I thought of mental farming. So I thought of farming being like a farmer who has a piece of land and cultivates agriculture on this piece of land. So let me just share probably like 10 definitions of some words that I'm going to be using right before I start to speak further on mental farming. So the first definition is image. It's a verb, means to form a mental picture. All right. And the second word is imagery, a noun, a piece of sculpture, carved figurines. And I'm getting this from an etymology dictionary. And the third is image as a noun. It's a piece of statuary, artificial representation that looks like a person or thing. An image, likeness, figure, drawing, portrait, reflection, statue. To copy, a statue, a picture, figuratively, an idea, appearance, a copy, to imitate. The fourth word is idol. It's a noun. Image of a deity as an object of worship. Idol, graven image, pagan god. Image, mental or physical. An appearance, reflection in water or a mirror. A mental image, apparition, a phantom. Material image, a statue. Okay. Now, word number 5, imagine, is a verb. To form a mental image of, to carve out, sculpt, paint, decorate, embellish. To form a mental picture to oneself, imagine. Sense of suppose is first recorded. Imagined, imagining. 6th word is phantasm. Phantasm, I think, or phantom. It's a noun. It's a dream, an illusion, a fantasy, an apparition, a ghost, a phantom. Directly from Latin phantasma, and apparition, specter. An image, phantom, apparition, mere image, unreality. To make visible, display. To bring to light, make appear. To shine, shine glitters. And lastly, it's white light, ray of light. So a white light, a phantom, like a ghost. Meditation, noun. Contemplation, devout preoccupation, devotions, prayer, thought, reflection, study. A thinking over, meditation. Dark, obscure, gloomy, sad. This is word number 8. Sad, cheerless, sinister, wicked. To hide or conceal. Absence of light, especially at night, is the original meaning of dark. Farm is a verb. To rent land. A rent or lease. Farming, noun. Action of farming out, practicing of letting or releasing taxes for collection, business of cultivating land, husbandry. So when I think of land, and that was all 10 of them, of the words. When I think of to rent or lease land, I'm thinking of earth. Okay, elemental speaking. So I shared those definitions of these words for you because I'm gonna be coming from that perspective. So when I went into my little hiatus and I've been meditating, I meditate a particular way, and since this is the Kaliq experience, I wanted to share how I do it. It's a method, and I call it mental farming. And the reason why I call it mental farming is because farming there's a science and methodology to it. And there are different farming methods. There are different agricultural products and applications, so on and so forth. But now if we're farming the mental, the same way that as a farmer would utilize measurements and calculations via the seasons and weather and charting of the stars and Farmer's Almanac to grow and produce, right? Fruit and foods. These fruit are actually filled with information based off of the methodology that the farmer was actually growing these foods. So the plants that he was growing is all a part of his cosmogenesis or his cosmogony, the creation of his universe. So now we think of all of these seeds and food, seeds and seed banks and GMO seeds and Monsanto and blah 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 blah. I'm just go out there with me. This is where I'm going. I'm gonna put it all together right now. They're created information that is embedded and put into the actual seed, whether it be viral information, viral constituents in seeds, or non-viral constituents. These seeds were created by creators, whether it's wild seeds, organic seeds, conventional seeds, whatever types of things, they were created. Now there's different types of farmers out there. So the point I'm making is when we're dealing with mental farming, there's the same process in our own mental capacity. And I liken that to like farmers would be like pastors and priests and religion. Not saying that any of them are bad or any technique that they're utilizing is bad. Basically saying that there are different agricultural, products and systems and methods that different people utilize. So this one in regards to mental farming for myself is saying that every thought is like a seed. So when you're thinking thoughts and you're getting into a meditative state of consciousness to vision something, you're basically visioning, idealizing your dream. And this is that state that is reached. Now, pause right there. Some people have a tough time getting to that state, and usually it's like, to me, I liken it to a movie theater. So when you go to the movie theaters, it's in darkness. All the lights are off. Why? Because the white light that is beaming from that little projector onto the screen can be all the pixels and whatever definition that it is in can be clearly visualized when it's in darkness. So our bodies are the same type of way. The white light that we receive from the sun, which, yes, you have to charge your battery, and you should solar gaze or solar feed on the sun rays through your eyes so that you can charge your battery, so that when you go when you do go, this is what you should be doing before, is the solar gazing into darkness, into a meditation temple, like monks and do when they go into the temples and people pray, that they're always encapsulated in darkness, so that the light that they have, they're now farming. This is why I say mental farming. They're cultivating these experience and these memories. And this is where I liken the earth element to be like food and like a memory. There is a memory of information that is there that is, okay, now, depending on the type of movie you're displaying in your own consciousness when you're meditating, or i.e. praying, right? Or focusing, you're getting to a almost a sleep-like state of consciousness where your body's calm and relaxed. Now, it's scary for some people, and people get afraid of the dark, because when the light hits you, those memories of what you're eating on, not, it doesn't just have to be physical foods or solid foods or water element. It could be your environment. It could be thoughts, words, music, imagery. All of this cultivates these seeds, these thought seeds. Now, and if, like I said, if that light shines on something and you close your eyes and you're afraid of the dark and you see ghosts or demons and shit that is scary, like a horror film in the movie theater, and you're watching on this, then, you know, that's a reflection of what's really going down in your mentality and your mental health. So start to put light products into your body, whether it be good sounding music, good sounding visual, be it even just low frequency TV, but as long, like, it could be going out down outside and looking at the stars or something. That is a visual white light that's going to come in, but you're basically forming and cultivating your mental. And if it looks scary, then what it is scary. That's what you're feeding on. So stop feeding on those scary things. Once you acknowledge the things that you are feeding on that are making you afraid of the dark, then you can begin to disintegrate it out of your picture or your universe. So meaning remove it. And that's the accountability of why I think in modern day society, it's really difficult for people to sit by themselves and be accountable for their actions that may have been a poor decision or a great decision, but as long as they're taking the account of those memories, kind of like a restaurant would do inventory at the end of the month. You're taking account of what your sales were, how much you sold, how much you didn't, yada, yada, yada. Same thing as with your body when you're mentally farming. Now, going to that process of sun gazing, to absorbing the sun, charging the battery, going into your temple, whether it could be in your room or your living room or your house, closing all the shades and being in that temple, in that sanctuary, your visualization. Now we said, all right, we saw some demons. Now we got to fight these demons. Where these demons come from? How did I make this demon? How did I make this demon or allow it into my world, into my body? How did I let the worm, the parasite, the evil intruder, the foreign invader, whatever the words are, they're all synonymous in different elements of life, frequencies, dimensions. So wherever that is, now we dealt with them. For instance, it could be eating habits, or lack of exercise, or not being able to meditate, or focus, anxiety, stressed out, not be able to produce money. It could be a lot of things that wherever you find and observe with your eyes, the problem, let the affirmation from the tongue come and be a solution. The mouth should be solving, right? Saliva, solve, soluble. It should be breaking down things. So what comes out of the mouth into the mouth is the solution, the elixir. Your food should be that. Your food should be that, in and out. Here, as you observe issues and problems, that's where the dark meditation comes in, from your mind and just thinking about it. Now, as we are cultivating, get to the cultivation process, let's say we're done with healing. We go through our detoxes, we go through our healing, and we find out and we beat the demons. Now I want to begin to cultivate and breed, manifest light. Of course, I'm going to start eating healthier, my greens and my vegetables, the wild foods, and want to get deep all the way into what are the best foods, electrical foods out there. And not just that, the methods of mental farming, right? Meditation, spiritual sciences, cosmology, astrologies, all the different numerologies, cardologies, or whatnot. There's different sciences to be able, or methods of farming. Now, as long as I'm just trying to show you the process of how I started to do that for myself. And so I would get all of these definitions, and I'm like, how am I going to communicate this if I want to share this with the people that I talk to all the time when I'm in cyberland? And this is something of a perspective that I wanted to share, to show, I'm like, all right, there's a different way of looking at things. And if we take it a different glance from that perspective, it might assist us with this cheat code of cultivating our consciousness, are idealizing and manifesting things into our life. So it is a whole process of farming. It's a science to it. This is why farmers use the almanac of the stars to produce onion. The onion has specific color hue to it. It has a specific mineral prevalence to it, meaning the most mineral in that plant that it's good for. And so on and so forth with certain thoughts that we have, and they're governed by the stars. Same thing, that if we're focusing on meditating on specific things in our life and we're going to grow our mental, we got to know the actual value of certain things. This is why when we purchase products from different religious, philosophical, scientific, educational producers or farmers, the products, what's the definition of a product? So, you know, we can even look at the definition of a product, and or the etymological definition of a product, and it basically says what it says right here. It says, give me a second, pull that up. Mathematical quantity obtained by multiplication. Okay, to bring forth. Mathematical, that means there's a science to it. Quantity, that means it's quantified. It means there's measurements to it. Obtained by multiplying, producing, right? Like the actual answer to a mathematical formula like multiplication is production, right? Products. So when people are selling products to you, which is totally fine, ideas and concepts, just understand they have a value system that they have created that has brought forth. There's a seed. That thought seed was created saying this is what it specifically does. So as you start to farm your character in life by going to school, by going to the gym, by going to the grocery store, you're farming your avatar, you're building your character. So as you're building your character, make sure you're eating on the optimal foods. And if you're not eating on optimal foods and you start to complain and you start to hear these things in your life, it is really easy to solve the issue. Go back to the process of what I was saying, the mental farming and dark meditation. Go into the sun, right? Just like the food, plants need the sun. It gets the sunlight. Then the sun goes away. It doesn't go away, but the rotation and the spinning in the universe is in a special type of way. The sun looks like it's going down, and there's not as much sunlight at the nighttime going through because it's going through the moon rays, so quote unquote. And now the plants get to rest, so it doesn't overheat and get burned. So there's a cycle to it, how much sunlight something can take. We go to the sunlight, and we absorb it, we come back in. Now we see the darkness of the problem, and those are in our dreams. They could be nightmares or dreams or whatnot, and we solve them. We solve our problems in the real world and in the dream world. So even at that, we have to be very specific when we're farming, because there are detrimental effects too. And remember, I was saying that the white light, majority of what we're farming under is like radiation waves now, because we're all plugged in. The white light from monitor screen, city lights, lights in the home, overconsumption of white pollutants, that's distorted and blurred and thrown off our connection to higher levels of visuals and messages and information, or movies that are playing on the cosmic screen of the black canvas out there. When we can really put it together and pixelate it and start imagining, that's a higher realm of downloads and uploads that we can get into. And it sounds very, very spacey, but it really isn't really that. There's a practical approach to it, and it's not that spacey. It's not so like, oh man, that sounds like way out there. Well, it does sound like it's way out there because light is way out there, and it comes over here and we see it, we catch up to it. And you're right, but it's not something that's not fathomable or grabbable or graspable, or like you can't manifest with it. You can touch it and you can taste it. It's just a different paradigm of consciousness. Now, at the same time, you can use it as an example again. Like, you can see how white light pollutes our own mind in regards to why we can't just sit down and meditate, because we have an overabundance of uploads of these radiation white lights every day, like what we're doing right now. And to get to the point of clearing that out, that also needs a detox in your damn self, and to unplug from it and really go to the cosmos and look at it and get the divine inspiration. And, we can go so many different angles on it, in regards to, let's say, like, how we can lose inspiration, if not like religiously looking at the night sky instead of the computer and TV. We can also say that how's the word? There's different like biologies. It gets really deep, like memorizing glyphs, symbols, and it thinks of supreme cosmologists as studies of the sky when we memorize them through glyphs, but then when we have to memorize them through the actual constellation, so there's a biological effect. But at the same time, there are different variances of optics and different biologies, which I was just talking about, that there are different potential in these uploads before we have to install the software on operating system. So basically what I'm saying is that before we even try to download from the universe, we have to understand this body and how it's going to, where we're going to put the energy, what we're going to do with it, what exactly is the whole purpose of it. What is my, do I have a 1080p? Do I have a Blu-ray TV, a 3D? Where are you really at? Not just your potential, but also where you're really at, what you can really visualize. And the reason why I'm getting all into that is, once again, to the mental farming aspect is where I've been, and it's really where a lot of us really are in life right now. Like the operating system that is currently at play, which we're referencing right now as the American dream, has all the images up there for you. We got them on our screens. We got Google, we got Facebook, we got fucking Wikipedia, we got YouTube, we got Google, Max, we got religion, we got books, we got school. This is cultivating, farming us. So what we look like is from a cosmic farmer. Now this cosmic farmer, we call it God. Now this God is you. It is your attention given to it that is giving the faith that it is going to do everything that we were just talking about, make everything happen for us. Which, once again, remember the saliva and the solution. You're the elixir. You're that answer to create it. But the way that you're uploading it to understand it, this is why I think there are some very poorly ran, governed mental farmers out there. And I guess they would call them like evil people or religions and stuff like that. I think it's just poorly ran in regards to how they're keeping a secret. because God could become a ghost. Hence why we get into the word phantom and ghost in the imagination. Once again, let's go to phantom. And it said, white light, ray of light, or a ghost, unreality, an image. So it's not real yet, but it gets real in the dreamland. Interesting note, what's a white light again? The white light on the screens, right? That we're getting from all of these monitor screens and everything. So once again, the white light that's beaming off of the thought seeds from the farmer that are implanted, well, let's say they're viral now. Let's speak on that side and let's speak on the light side and the dark side, okay? The light side has light. Dark side is absence of light. Which color is dark? Which color is light in regards to white and black? Is black full of color or is white full of color? Which one's absent of color? So which one's dark? White is dark because it's absence of color. All right. So now we're talking about a white light or anything in regards to the universe that is like a ghost, right? Ghost is always usually depicted as being white, right? Like that white sheet over it. So it's a white light of an imagery that is created in our mind from images, visuals, different things in life. And we can create phantom gods. And this is why I go back to the religion to pull it all full circle, that there are poor farmers out there that have weak methods of farming because the production of the fruits or the crop, which is the people, are unaware of who the creator is. Because it is a phantom, it's a ghost, a mystery god. Now, if we understood who the creator really was, then we could really understand what fruit we're eating, what type of fruit we are. So how do we not understand who we are if we don't know who the creator is, and if we don't know they're one and the same thing, right? In the image of God, right? Let's go back to image, to form a mental picture in the image of God. But let's go back to idol worshiping. Idol worshiping and religious practices that keep a spooky mystery god secret from the masses, from the fruit, creates idolatry. And idolatry, why we say, I've always said idolatry was not good, is because you're keeping the truth that there's a death to this fruit. This fruit will decay, it will die. The human body will decay, it will die. We're learning applications and methods to extend life, but everything that has been birthed from an idea into a physical manifestation, it will go from a physical manifestation to a physical extermination. You always are setting it up into a measurement and a cycle. So once again, this is why idol worship, they always said, stay away from idol worship. But really, that's what everything is about. It depends on if you're letting them know, like when you're idolating something, in the sense of idolizing something. I mean, right now I want to idolize $10,000 this month because I have this idea that I want to manifest. So I set my vision board and my deities and and I get to that point. As I manifest, now I do not continue to worship that idol. Let's say I set the bar to 20,000. That same idol, that vision board is going to look different from 10,000 to 20,000. Not getting stuck. And that's why I think that there's basically saying without progress and evolution and movement is where idol worship, it can stagnate us if we don't know how long, or the reason why the thought seed, the manufacturer, the person who created the fruit, of how long it's going to last, how long is the shelf life, or something like that. So if we understand those things, then we have a better understanding and a conscious awareness of how to really function our own human bodies, going back all the way to mental farming. So it's kind of like the video game, when you play video games again. You have to collect certain materials and go on missions to acquire materials to upgrade your character. Hence, farming. You got to go on missions, right? You got to complete objectives. You got to actually do work and put the effort. Effort doesn't stop until you finish the mission, whatever the mission is. This is why it's so important, once again, that all of it is health. Nutrition is one aspect of health. If we're just talking about foods, solid foods, then that's what we're just talking about. But that's not the only way to keep a body healthy in regards to just solid foods. Now, solid foods will be the thought seeds of the memories that the white light, the sun gazing, will blossom and cultivate, and that actual food with also water, right? Watering it, and the air, actually, the air element, and fire, air, water, earth, yeah. And the sun, and then the earth would be the minerals actually going into the earth, right? The soil. So all of that's getting cultivated, and that is how our alchemy of our mind works to create things. If we can take basic formats and fundamental understandings of things, everything I'm saying is not coming from a specific pattern or methodology of what something should be done. This is just how things are done, and you're going to figure out your specific way on how you're going to do things based off of understanding this, because yours is different than mine, and your connection to the mind is going to be different than mine, at different valence, at a different channel. We're going to be on different channels. So picking up off what I'm saying and what makes it valuable to you is great, but it won't necessarily work for you. You're going to have to figure it out. In the meantime, you're going to learn from different farmers. And this is why I think that farming is becoming like almost obsolete in regards to the real indigenous farming methods. I wouldn't even say real. I would say ancient, which means basic and standard ways of doing things. But even at that, we have to upgrade based off of what the current mission is. So depending on what everybody's doing, you got to link up and unite and create some things and say, this is what we're going to do. Otherwise, we're going to be sloppy, unorganized, and we can have the greatest farmers in the world and the greatest psychologists in the world and therapists and the greatest trainers, physical trainers in the world and doctors, but without a common goal or something, paradigm to come under, it's going to be sloppy. And I can see that in the world right now. But we all are playing this organized game that is taxing the energy, and that's what I still think that's all right too. Depends on what the contract was. If 10 of us live in a apartment complex together, 10 different families, and we all agree that we're going to live in this apartment complex for 10 years, and 10% of everything that we make is going to go to this trust account so that we can upgrade, so all of us get 10 different houses in a neighborhood on a block instead of an apartment, then I don't think taxes are bad. So I don't know if the words and people get, really scared of how that, pyramid schematic works on how you create trust and money. But I'm saying, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just different methodologies that people don't understand and they get confused and fight over again. So that's just kind of what I wanted to share on mental farming. I know it was a little bit and I floated along a lot different directions, but I think I got the gist of everything I want to say. It was just basically saying, like, you got your own little fucking land right here, and land is earth, and these materials are going to grow, and there's a process of doing it. You got to get your sunlight, you got to get your breathing, you got to get your water, you got to get your food, your solid foods. And all of these are foods, and you're cultivating your consciousness and your mental healing is a necessary step. But after healing, there's bodybuilding, and there's different bodybuilding techniques out there depending on what you're trying to do. Now, yes, after observation, healing is the first motion. It's the first act that we should, focus on right now, because a lot of us are sick in different areas, and these sicknesses can be blocking us from really activating the real energy for us to unite with each other, and viruses do that. It separates and it divides and conquers. So we have to be able to find a common link and help each other to heal. So yes, great herbs and herbal products and teas and elixirs and potions. There are some great people out there creating great products. Invest into that because those are necessary. And eating healthy, there are great diet regimens and plans and great trainers. These are all great things. Once you start to learn and master your body, then comes in the, obviously at the same time, with the spiritual or the metaphysical approach of organizing your spiritual energies. So all of this mental farming is probably what everybody was already doing, whether consciously or unconsciously. So just some things that I want to share. I'm going to get back onto the consistency of making these videos. So once again, it's the Kaliq experience, cheat code number 20. I hope I fit everything in there. I know I was saying a lot of things, but I just wanted to really get into mental farming. And I hear a lot of my friends, they get struggling with connecting and getting to that space, and some practice yoga. They have all different Islam. They have different ways of meditating. I don't know, nobody's is wrong. I mean, I wouldn't say nobody's was wrong. It could be, I mean, everybody's could be wrong depending on what the next person is trying to do, you know? But under this common goal and vision, it could be right. So I guess we could create a religion or a practice or a methodology of farming ourselves. And that's kind of what I want to do. So hopefully we can continue to build on this, and we can become the farmers out there that we need to produce. You know, instead of the conquerors and the conquistadors, the destroyers. But yes, farm your mind and farm your mental health. It's a whole process. It's not just eating of the fruit. You got to understand it all. And that whole process of application is going to help you get to another level. So until next time, I'll see y'all on the flip side. Sorry it took so long, but yeah, that's what it is. Peace.